All right, we're
We need
live
some
at the
evidence.
Jones Memorial Hospital.
We're not at Jones, honey. We're
Oh,
at
Strong Memorial Hospital
Golisano
in
Children's.
we're in Rochester, New York. So
Hold on. Ron's trying to get some more light on the subject.
hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. We're gonna
It's Lorinda. Hi, Kathy.
gotta set the chair or the bed up. Hold on.
Hey, everyone. Well, thank you.
Not very bright, but that's okay. Hi, everyone. You guys are gonna be going too fast, I think, for me. And Ron's here, so he's gonna pull up a chair.
How's our little Jordan tonight? I'm good.
So, we're gonna let Danny talk for a few minutes. So you can tell him how you doing, and then Dad.
So I'm doing good and doing a lot better. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
How are you? I'm doing a lot better, Jordan. So I'm doing good.
Anyway, so
how are you? I'm good, Jordan. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Chandler. Hi. Yes, good to hear.
Okay.
Good job following that, Dan. It goes by fast.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to hold it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we thought we would just get on here, and originally we were going to talk about.
Wait, 1 minute. Can I add Jordan as a?
No, he's fine.
Okay, I was.
Sure fine.
Hi, Millie.
Anyway.
Can I ask?
No. Okay. We were originally going to.
Hey, Tracy.
Get on and talk about Danny's story because, there's a lot of you that wonder, and that's totally fine. I have no problem with people asking questions. If it's too personal, I just will be I'll just tell you. I don't want to answer. But I don't have a problem with people asking. That's just me. I try to be respectful of Danny and what he is comfortable with, but I think most of you know he's kind of an open book like we are. But anyway, we're going to start off first and tell you when he was born, the pregnancy was totally normal. He's the youngest of 6, and everything was going fine. No problems. All of his ultrasounds were normal. So when he was born and not breathing and had to be resuscitated, that was quite disturbing. And he definitely had some issues right from birth. We could tell. I don't know if Ron wants to add anything.
Well, the first couple of weeks, we just thought he was kind of sleepy because of the hard delivery that he had. He seemed to sleep. I know babies sleep all the time anyway, but he seemed to sleep more. Wasn't very active or anything like that. And we didn't think much of it other than he needed to rest a lot.
Yeah. So
a few weeks later, after he was like 2 or 3 weeks old, like I would be holding him and I would lay him down like this on my legs, and he would just kind of flop back and lay there like he was looked kind of like he was passing out. And after this had happened a few times, we thought we ought to get it checked out. We went up to St. James and ended up he was having SVTs. They broke the SVTs and they transferred us up to Strong the first time. That was about just, I think, 3 weeks after he was born, right?
Yep. Yeah. Backing up a little bit, we knew something was wrong. Like we knew something was different about him. Not even wrong, just different about him. Thank you, Jordan. Tell Colleen. Thank you.
Hi, bye, Colleen.
Give Ava a big hug.
Yes, and Ella.
And Ella, yes. Anyway, so we knew something was different about him because he looked different. We didn't really know what the differences were. We just knew something was up. It wasn't until later, after the 3 week, that he ended up being at Strong, that we realized um, he didn't blink and he didn't close his eyes, which you would think that as a mother, especially a mother and a father with 6 kids, that we would have just automatically known that our child wasn't blinking or closing his eyes all the way. But, I, anyway, we just didn't realize. Um, Maybe we were sleep deprived. Anyway, um, so we had a bunch of tests done, and it revealed that he had agenesis of the corpus callosum, and some other brain abnormalities. And I think they diagnosed him with Mobius syndrome at that point, which Mobius syndrome is a condition where it affects your cranial nerves, mainly your, like for your eyes, your facial paralysis, that you can't blink, close your eyes, smile. Um, that's basically the gist of it for many um, people with Mobius syndrome. Um, it affects midline issues. So anyway, a lot of the things they said were, well, we'll just have to wait and see because we don't know a lot about this condition. It's very rare. The NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, it's it's even rare. It's rare for them, and so it's something that they didn't know a lot about. The agenesis, obviously, they knew, and they could tell us a little bit, but a lot of people are different. Some people, you could be missing your corpus callosum, which is the middle half of your brain, and not even know it. There's people that are lawyers and, obviously very smart people that have that and they never know it until later in life. And then there's other people that have it and they're severely disabled. So it's just a wide spectrum. Um, I don't know. What else do you want to add as far as that goes?
Did you say what the corpus callosum does?
No.
There's 2 hemispheres in the brain, right brain, left brain. The corpus callosum is between them, and it directs all the brain waves, all the activity to either side, and helps them to communicate. So,
Yep.
Danny's a right and left brain person.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, I guess moving forward, there were just some things. His eyes didn't, um, they were severely like going in different ways and they couldn't track. Um, so we got in contact with, because he couldn't close his eyes, we were worried about dry eyes and things like that. So we got in touch with a ophthalmologist, a pediatric ophthalmologist in Elmira, Dr. Robert Morello, who is amazing. And unfortunately, he's retired. So just breathe. Anyway, that was a big, sad day. Anyway, but so we got in touch with him and he followed him since probably 4 weeks of age, until just this past year. Danny's had 4 major eye surgeries to straighten his eyes. And if you look on, I don't know, maybe I'll post some pictures or something so you can see the difference. It's been a big difference in his eyes, at how straight they are, um, and it's been pretty miraculous, really. So, um, jumping forward, he other than the eye surgeries, he did, he's been doing pretty well. He walked, or sat up. He was like 2 years old when he sat up for the first time on his own. So he was definitely delayed. And I can remember the first day that, because he didn't coo, he didn't babble, he didn't do anything. He just sat there for pretty much the whole first 2 years of his life. I mean, we would talk to him and a lot of activity around, try to get him to giggle or something. And I remember the first time we were sitting in the living room and I was making silly noises at him and stupid noises, really, just trying to get him to do something. And hi, Francis. Um, and he he went, and I burst into tears because it was the best sound I had ever heard in my whole entire life. And I get teary eyed just thinking about it because um, I just knew that it was going to be okay, and we were gonna be okay. Um, he was there, and so it was pretty cool. Um, and he's had a lot of dental surgeries because part of the Mobius syndrome, they're mouth breathers because they can't close their mouth, and so it affects your, the saliva and everything in your mouth. There's a lot of excess drool, and so it causes tooth decay easily.
And the teeth can be a little misshapen anyway.
Right, and they're people with Mobius syndrome many times, not all the times, but many times have weaker teeth. The enamel is weaker, and so anyway, a lot of reasons. It's just, um, you know, he had a couple major surgeries for his mouth and dental surgeries. So that was the next thing that he had. Um, oh, one thing we never even said. Also, when he 3 weeks old, the reason he was passing out was because he. Oh, you said SVT.
SVTs.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And that was just controlled with the Digoxin.
Right.
Had it 4 times a day for 3.5, 4 years, first 4 years of his life.
Yeah.
And that was controlled. Once his heart developed, that went away.
Yep. And when they told us we had to give him the medicine 4 times a day at the same time every day, I thought, you have got to be kidding me. How do you expect me to remember that? I can't even remember to, go to the bathroom. I thought for sure that I was going to mess it up and everything. But I don't think in those 4 years, 3.5 years, there was a time that I forgot. I mean, it was just
I think there were like
maybe
2 or 3 times in 4 years that we were a little late
right.
with it, and we felt terrible. And
Yeah.
it's like we were always on time with it. Just did it. It was a part of life, and
Yeah.
that's what we did.
So it was pretty cool. I mean, just little things like that. I felt like God was really just reminding me He was in control. So
What should I say for what? Dory June.
Dory June, we're just giving you kind of a brief recap on Danny's life, and then we're going to get to his current situation. Okay, fast forward a bunch of years. He was relatively healthy, other than, silly little things. Bumped his head, because he was kind of clumsy, and had speech therapy and occupational therapy. I don't know if she's watching, but huge shout out to his first speech person. Only, well, not his first. We're not going to shout out to that person because she wasn't very nice. But anyway, the only speech pathologist that ever did anything good with him and was a miracle worker was Ann Walsh. Anyway, she was fantastic and worked wonders with him, and went from not being able to understand a single word to being able to understand him very well.
Now he has lots to say.
Yes, obviously. But anyway, who knew? I mean, honestly, when he was even 5 years old, 6 years old, when he went to school for the first time and no one could understand him, I think he was probably, I don't know, how old was he with the first time that we stopped feeling like we had to interpret every word? Like 10?
10 or 11.
Yeah.
And there's still times.
Yeah, but I mean,
Here or
to
there.
go from age 10, not really, that people were just starting to really understand him till now. And to see all that he can say and do is, it's just nothing short of miraculous. It really is. I'm always in awe. Um, and, not being able to, just do a lot of stuff. And, you know, before he was even he wasn't walking at 3 even. It was, anyway, it was just really cool to see him, how well he's done. What else? Nurse is coming in. Oh, anyway, so I had in my head all that I was going to say, and I thought I was going to try to sound eloquent, but I'm not, so I'm sorry.
Current situation? Should we
Yeah,
jump to
let's
that?
jump to the current situation.
People know about 2 weeks ago. A lot of them do.
Yep.
2 weekends ago.
Yeah. So current situation. Well, 2 weeks ago he was sick to his stomach, threw up a little bit, thought it was a stomach bug, and he had a seizure. I looked out in the other room because he was making weird noises, and he was having a full-blown grand mal seizure. It looked like, body shaking and everything. Came out of it, called the ambulance, and they took him in, and then in the hospital he had 3 more.
He had a few.
He
It's
had
hard to say.
quite a few
Yes.
more seizures in the hospital. We were at St. James for that, and they just kind of figured it was a fluke thing and sent us home, told us to follow up.
Yeah, they thought it was dehydration from the vomiting, which is kind of what I had thought. But because when we hooked him up to the IV, he did a lot better. He got some nausea drugs that helped.
Yep.
Mhm.
Painkiller maybe, and he was doing great by the time we
The
went home.
drug was under the tongue, so I just pull in the mouth. A few seconds later, it's gone.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Our daughter-in-law, Sarah.
Yeah.
She's awesome too. Anyway, and she has one of our awesome grandsons.
Yes,
Any-
Levi. How is Levi, Sarah?
He's having fun at the beach right now.
But
Anyway, so we kind of just took it as that it was a fluke thing. We had an EEG. It came back, relatively normal. And so
It was normal. They didn't see.
yeah, it was,
Anything in it?
we knew that he has some brain weirdness, brain abnormalities. So we didn't think anything of it. Fast forward now, 2 weeks later, Monday. I was at work. Ron was gone. Danny messaged me on the computer and said that he wasn't feeling good. So I knew that he was home alone. And yes, he can stay home alone for short periods of time. I knew Ron wasn't going to be gone long. So I left work and started heading home. And when I got home, he was laying on the couch and he said he was really hot. So we went and got in the pool. We got out of the pool and came back in the house, and
I got back
you got back.
from Hornell.
Yep. We came inside and laid down, or he laid down on the couch again and threw up, and then started to have a seizure again. So we took him to St. James again. I called the pediatrician. He said take him to St. James, and he was going to call Strong and get him transferred up there. And so they did that. They got us transferred up to Strong, rode in the ambulance.
I slept basically the whole way.
Yep.
I was tired.
And so we've been here. While he was at Strong, he had quite a few more seizures, and they did an EEG yesterday morning. Yesterday morning.
Well, it's still going on. That's what.
Right.
On its
Well, I
head.
mean,
It's
like a
got the-
normal EEG that showed some asymmetry, and then they put in this on this EEG, which they glued the EEG to his head, the wires to his head, to his hair, with surgical glue or something like that.
Yes, surgical glue.
Yeah. So so it stays put because they wanted to monitor him over a few days for that. And while he had that, they also wanted to, his neurologist was, I thought he was retired, but he ended up showing up, which was a huge blessing because he's followed him since 3 weeks old. So that was good. And oh, one thing that we forgot to say was the day that a couple days ago when or a few years, 6 years ago, he started a study through Boston Children's Hospital with Dr. Elizabeth Mango about Mobius syndrome because there's different things about Mobius. So they were trying to learn more and more information. So we had a bunch of work done. We went out there a couple times, and he had been having some trouble with his eyes with corneal erosions, corneal abrasions from the dry eyes. So it was getting out of control at that point, the cornea issues. He has some scarring on those. So we went out there for that. We joined the study. She did a bunch of tests. She did some genetic testing, and it got sent away. We went to Toronto, had some more testing done, came home. Nothing happened for a long time. I kind of fell out of touch with them just because I figured the genetic testing hadn't come back. They had mentioned to us a few things that it could be because they thought it was a little different. We found out that he is missing his olfactory bulb, so he
Can't smell,
he can't smell.
which is good for farm work.
Yes, yes, that's why his farm work doesn't bother him because he can't smell anything.
Yeah. So when he's been in the goats, we can smell and we can tell him when it's time to take a shower.
Can I?
That's okay. Just say that. Yeah. So it all these things I'm remembering. Anyway, so 6 years ago, and then we never really heard anything else about the genetic testing. Some of the issues that they had told us about, they asked us if he ever started throwing, or if he had trouble throwing up and not being able to stop. And at that point, he was relatively healthy, other than, his issues that he had with the Mobius syndrome and stuff. And so we said no, and they said okay, and asked if what other things were they asking about? Oh, they did a test on for polyneuropathy because he does. We've always noticed that he doesn't feel cold or hot as much. Like he could walk outside in a snowstorm barefoot. In fact, when he was younger, there were many times that he would go outside barefoot, and one of his brothers or sisters would carry him back in and tell me, "Mom, didn't you realize Danny was outside no shoes on?" And
In the snow.
in the snow. And I hadn't realized it because you don't think that your child is going to go out without shoes on when they know better, when they're, 10. But it didn't bother him. So he did it. But anyway,
I can walk on gravel without. I can walk on gravel. It hurts a tiny, but not much.
But anyway, so
But
his
it
sensitivity to
sucks,
things
huh?
is a little bit lessened. And they told us that that could be an issue if it was one of these other things, but we didn't, we just let it go. Anyway, fast forward to a few days ago. After I couldn't get a hold of the neurologist in Rochester, when he was throwing up that day and had had a few seizures, I thought, maybe I'm just going to try to, it clicked with me like that. I got a thought in my head about the throwing up, and not being able to stop. So I just happened to look up the number and give Dr. Engel's office a call. And on the second ring, a real person picked up, and it happened to be Dr. Engel's um, assistant. And I was floored because you never get somebody, a real person, especially somebody at a huge hospital like Boston Children's. Anyway, so she said, did you call about his genetic testing? And I said, no. I just had a question about the seizure or the throwing up. And she said, well, that's really funny because FedEx delivered his genetic testing today.
After 6 years.
After 6 years, the day that I called, his genetic testing was delivered, which I couldn't help but start crying because I knew that it was a God thing. Um, I know I know not everybody believes in that, but I do, and I know that it was absolutely a God thing. Um, and so he has CFEOM3 and a TUB3 variants, which is a genetic mutation, right?
Mhm.
From what I can understand about it. Um, it's a narrowed down type of Mobius syndrome, basically. Mobius syndrome is very rare. The CFEOM3 is an even more rare form. One of those things is cyclical vomiting, which just happens to come up occasionally in people with this, and it's hard to stop. It's like a abdominal migraine. They've described it as.
Yeah, just get intense nausea and pain and throw up every couple hours for a day or two, and then they're fine.
Yep. So when I called the her office, so she faxed over the stuff. Anyway, to make a long story short, now his neurologist is on top of that, and they're all working together to come to a good conclusion of what's going on, whether it has something to do with that or if it's if his body is just getting overreacting to the throwing up and kind of his brain is resetting, or if it's a seizure disorder. We're not sure yet. But the one other thing that came up while he was being monitored, the monitor kept going off for his heart rate, and it was it looked normal. The heart rate looked normal, but it said it was
Bradycardia.
bradycardia, which it didn't look like it because I know what bradycardia is extra slow heart rate, and 70 or 80 isn't an extra slow heart rate. Anyway, they looked at the heart monitor. Anyway, it's a definite heart irregularity. So they're very concerned about that. And tomorrow morning, Daniel will be having a heart catheterization. So that's going to be good. They can find out, what's going on with his heart, and I'm confident they will be able to fix it. And I know that it's going to be okay. So
Yeah, what's been happening with his heart is the upper chambers are contracting like they're supposed to, and then the bottom part, which pumps all the blood, every once in a while takes time off, skips a few beats. So the doctor said, like, his heart rate, it was 80 on the monitor, but a bunch of those beats weren't effective in pumping the blood. So his effective heart rate was about 30. So they the procedure tomorrow is they're going to measure the electrical charges and everything in his heart to see why the bottom part isn't contracting when it should. If there's something they can fix while they're in there, they'll fix it. Otherwise, they'll develop another plan if it's going to need something different in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I guess that's it in a nutshell, in a 30-minute nutshell. I'm gonna open it up for questions if anybody has any questions. Like I said, I'm sorry. I wish I was a better talker like Jordan. Maybe I need a glass of wine or something. But unfortunately, we can't have wine in the hospital. So,
Can I ask questions if I know them?
answer
Answer
questions?
questions,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, what time is the heart cath? They are gonna try to do it between 10 and 12, I believe, but there's somebody before him, and it depends on, how long that one takes.
Whether they have to fix something on that person too while they're
Yeah. They were gonna do it Friday, but they decided to do it tomorrow, so that'll be good. Sneak wine in a thermos. I like how you think, Mary D. Sharon, Daniel's not having heart surgery. It's just a heart catheterization. So, did Danny have a brain scan? He didn't have any this time, other than the EEG, but he has had many MRIs in the past, like 4, 5. I'm not sure.
Yep, all the electrodes on his head have been there since yesterday morning, and everything's been normal so far in the EEG, except for the EKG, which showed the bradycardia.
Right. Have they ruled anything out yet?
Yes. Quit the hairdo. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they've probably ruled out that he
Well,
doesn't have a
It's not
squirrel in his brain or anything. I
full
don't
blown
know.
epilepsy because the brain scans don't show any abnormalities like that.
Right. Yeah.
So there's got to be a cause other than regular epilepsy, maybe.
We're holding up okay. Hi, Bran. Interesting that. Wait. You went too fast. That's interesting to know, Bren. I'll have to let them know that. Hereditary things are very,
yes, they
good
do
to know.
have a room for me. Denise.
All by ourselves.
Yep. We
Room
should.
himself.
I'm going to show you around the room. Hold on there. So there's the door. And there's a room with his nurses that keep an eye on him and make sure we're not having a party in here. And then there's the window. There's a bed over there that pulls out.
Kind of like a futon.
Yep. The cool thing is the Mercy Flight helipad is right out Danny's window, so that's kind of cool to watch.
Should I?
No, it's okay. No high fever. He never had any fever or anything like that. It's not a virus or anything. It's all, they've ruled all of that stuff out. It's definitely not a virus. They are going to be testing for Lyme disease because the Lyme disease can cause this heart block type thing that they're talking about, that they're worried about. That's what they're calling it, heart block. It's not a heart blockage. It's just called heart block. If you can
The
look it up if you want
electrical
to.
current from one side to the other is blocked.
Right.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Doesn't get where it's going.
Are heart irregularities a part of Mobius syndrome? No, not really. Mobius syndrome can affect things midline, but I I don't think I've never read anything or heard of anything that they've been concerned about with that. So probably not. Uh, so going up a little bit, see if there's any. All right. He's not able to walk up and around the halls or anything because he's tethered to the EEG machine. So unfortunately, he can only walk around his room. Millie, I'm not sure
What's that question?
about his age. Could it have started because of his age?
Yes, from some of the things that we're reading at certain ages, they can develop the cyclic vomiting and
Oh,
other issues.
okay, yeah.
The older they get,
I was thinking-
some of these issues progress, like potential loss of feeling,
I'm going
more loss of
to-
feeling in his hands and feet.
Yeah, just don't even bother.
Can I, Mom?
If you come back on, you can.
Thanks.
Yeah, so some of these things are progressive. So, he also the other thing, we see endocrinology because of, just some of his endocrine issues. So we'll follow up with them. Okay, don't worry about
Yeah.
that, honey, because I can't read.
You got to see who's
Have
asking
they
the question.
ruled out sleep disorder seizures? No, I mean, I'm
Other
sure
than he slept all night and nothing showed up on the EEG.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they're looking at everything. It's, it's everything. So stop, please. Okay, you're fine.
How about the last things?
Oh yeah. You can
Right
see a little
there.
bit where they're at, but the swelling's gone down.
Yep. So his wasps, I can't even talk. Oh my gosh, those things. Hi, Nanny Sue. Have you checked into CBD oil? Yep, it's legal in New York State. CBD oil is. I think it's legal everywhere as long as it's not, you know, my
Active.
personal opinion, and I know I differ from a lot of people, including my mom, probably my husband, and it's not something that I would recommend for everyone. I have no problem with medicinal marijuana for certain things.
Cancer patients.
Cancer
and-
patients, people with Lyme's disease, like my cousin, if she chose to do anything like that, then I wouldn't,
Larry D and C is
So,
Zep.
you don't
Yeah,
have to worry
Zep
about that
power
right now,
is good. Zep power is good. That yes, and
Yep, he likes to zap, sometimes a
Yes.
little too quickly.
Did you get unhooked, Dan?
No,
well, thinking. I'm new here. What would you like to do on your free time? I really like to just see my goats, chickens, ducks, and all
I
my
agree,
farm
Brenda.
animals. What?
Nothing. I was talking to Brenda. Okay. Will you know about the cath results immediately, or will doctors need to confer about it? I'm sure they'll confer. If there's something that needed to be fixed, they please stop. They could do it while they were in there. They said if it was something small that they could do. If he needed pacemaker or something like that, then they would have to probably schedule that. How is Allie taking such good care of? Yes, Allie is doing a tremendous job taking care of
Yes.
the animals,
Managing the farm.
managing the farm by herself.
Aw, thank you, Levi.
Oh,
Love you,
love
Levi.
you, Levi. I love
Love
you,
you.
Sarah.
Can I?
I love you, Justin. And
Can I
Jake
read
and
it?
Manda, if you guys are watching,
Can
and
I-
Abby, if you're watching, and Ben, and Liam, and Tomas, and Ziggy. Yes, I couldn't not. I mean, I couldn't not be here.
Can
Um,
I do it like that? People are out
No.
and
We're just gonna ignore people.
Yeah.
We don't need to zap constantly. I can easily ignore them.
Mm-hmm.
I
Is that
want
all
to.
of them, Jeanette? Well, no.
Did we mention Slate?
No. Well, okay. Backstory: the two oldest boys and their wives, not they don't share a wife. Anyway, wives are away on vacation, and our oldest son and his wife have our or not our first grandson, but one of our grandsons, Levi, and then did I? Oh, and then we have Abby. So I said hi to Abby. She's not there, but her and her husband live in Florida, and they have our other three grandsons, Ziggy, Tomas, and Liam. Ziggy's real name is Benjamin. Anyway, Ezekiel, Cheapers. I call him. Never mind. I'm losing my mind and I'm overtired. Can you tell? And then there's Slayton, and he's in Ohio working. And then Allie is home taking great care of the animals. And my mom sent me a message today and said that she was cleaning up the house like a pro. So she's my little Cinderella. Cinderella. Anyway. And then there's Dan. That's six,
Mhm.
right?
You didn't mention Jake's name, but the second oldest is Jake.
Oh, well, I know, but I said it. Okay, I'm sorry. Jacob, I love you. He's awesome. Jacob's our chef, who Danny talks about a lot. So, anyway, check out his Vanish Facebook page that he takes care of, and
Vanish
Instagram.
Brewery,
Vanish Brewery.
Leesburg, Virginia.
And our oldest son just got accepted to fire department school. Okay. No granddaughters. I know. Although girls or boys are much easier than girls. Okay. Get a bed in Daniel's room. Yes, we have. I'm sleeping in one of them, and Ron is sleeping in the other. They don't, have beds for. Never mind. My brain. Maybe I need the EEG. Anyway,
Show anything.
anyway, I can't think of anything we need, Audrey. In decap, I mean, just honestly, just pray for Danny and pray for everything to go smoothly and that we get definitive answers. So I wish I could
And
go back.
treatments if necessary.
Yeah, and treatments if necessary. So I'm going to go back and watch this and wish that there was a delete button. So anyway, so thank you for watching, and hopefully we will be home soon for the thing on Saturday at Animal Adventure Park. I'm kind of thinking we won't be able to be there, even though it breaks my heart. We're going to try if we're home. By then, we will try, but I can't promise anything. So my apologies. But we definitely will be there in August. God willing.
Can we nail cards to your home?
Absolutely. Danny
Yes.
loves to get cards. So, yes. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate just all of the support we've been getting and the messages that I've been getting. So thank you. And it's very much appreciated. I just want you to know that. So anyway, good night.
Could we do a little Q&A?
We already did, honey.
Like
No, you can do a Q&A another time.
Okay. Have a good
We
night,
can take
everyone.
a couple questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Ron
have
said
a-
we can have a couple questions.
Yep.
Okay.
Ask questions.
Okay.
You want to
How
know
about-
from Dan?
2 questions for Dan. Oh, how? I don't want to put it on here, even though I'll put it on his Facebook, Daniel's Fresh Farm Facebook page. It just because everybody can get it anyway off of there.
You can, if you look, yeah, we'll get the address.
Yeah.
Favorite movie.
Message me on Daniel's Fresh Farm.
What's
Favorite
favorite?
movie?
Dr. Cole. Does that show?
It's a vet show. Danny doesn't watch movies. He doesn't watch TV very much. He's just not one of those kids. And
He watches Dr. Pol.
He watches Dr. Pol and he watches Animal Adventure Park video, or the YouTube channel. He watches YouTube things like Jordan's like videos that he does. He was just watching all of the what were they that you were watching about the keepers?
Q&A on the Keepers.
Oh yeah. When are you guys going to Animal Adventure in August? We're gonna go when the Animal Adventure Park chatters go. It's August 14th and 15th. So yeah, we're gonna go then. Thanks. I'm glad you liked the cricket video. It was not the best one I put up, but anyway. Do you like the Phoenix? Oh yeah, that was great.
Dr. Cole's in Michigan and League. Cool. I want to meet him so bad.
What's your favorite color, Dan?
Red.
Yep, red. Always has been. One more.
2 more. No.
Oh,
I
that
did
would have
not.
been cute to see him stretch.
Favorite food. Anything.
Not hot dogs anymore.
No
Those are
hot
on hold.
dogs.
Hold for a while.
Yeah,
I don't. No hot dogs.
he loves fish.
Yeah, like fish.
Okay, we are gonna sign off.
Christmas.
Favorite holiday, Christmas.
Mac and cheese. Yes.
Okay.
Night, night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Have a
Good
good
night.
night.
I'll let you guys know tomorrow how we did. Bye.